When I first started out in woodworking, I thought you had to have the most exotic or the most figured wood to make any kind of money. I quickly realized that you didn't have to have all that expensive wood to turn a big profit. Let's go. So on my last video that I posted, Avery Street Designs beat me to the punch and they built a project I had planned on building, so I didn't get to build it. So over the last 24 hours, I devised a plan to put some spin on that thing. Nice shot. We'll start by cutting our left and right side for this project, and we're going to be using some of this 1x8 to get that. First, we'll mark center at 3 5/8, and then we'll pull down on both the left and right side at 10 inches. And we'll use that big 12. You know what I'm talking about. And play connect the dots. I thought now would be a good time to answer a question I'm often asked about copyrights. Do I copyright my woodworking projects? And to answer that question, absolutely not. Now, is it a good idea to copy another woodworker's project? Well, that's a different story. But before we get into that, let's finish laying out our piece. We'll pull from that long point at the top down to 16 inches. We'll make this cut square and transfer this same cut onto our next piece. I can't speak for all woodworkers, however, I can speak for myself and several other woodworkers that I know. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the word copy and replace it with the word inspire. We tend to grab inspiration from each other, so we really don't call that copying. Now, when it comes to woodworking plans, that's when you can get into some copyright issues. While woodworkers can technically copyright their projects if they have a unique artistic expression incorporated into the design, it's not very common for most woodworkers to formally register copyrights for individual projects, as copyright law generally protects the creative expression rather than the functional aspects of a piece. Which is why you hear me saying, put some spin on that thing. Or as Matthew Peach would say, a twist. And it's really up to us as woodworkers to give the credit where the credit is due. Next, we're going to cut our front and our back for this piece. And I'm going to be using this 1x6 to get those pieces cut. I've got a piece of 1x6 that's approximately 30 1/4. So I'm just going to cut two at 15 inches. And we'll make quick work of that over here at the miter box. For the 55% of my viewers that are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you're notified when I publish a new video. And for everyone else, go ahead and smack that like button. Ah, the old big box sticker on wood. To get rid of that quickly, if you got a heat gun, that works the best. And it'll pop right off of there. We're going to be doing pocket holes for the joinery of our front and back. I'm fortunate enough to have some of the coolest members of my channel that send me gifts and odds and ends all the time. And David Mullins, I want to give you a shout out for giving me this wonderful Craig jig. I'm not sure which one it exactly is, but I know it's a lot better than the one I already got. So thank you, David. We're going to go ahead and drill 2 pocket holes on each side of these 15-inch pieces. What? Now that is what I call a game changer. We'll add a dab of glue, 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 add a dab of glue. Next, we'll go ahead and get our bottom cut for this piece. Our rip is going to be at 5 3/4. slap on your PP, and let her rip. We'll get our piece set in here and just make a scribe mark right at the other side. And we'll make quick work of this at the miter box. And we'll use the same method of some pocket screws to install our bottom piece. We'll add a dab of glue and get this bottom installed. Alright, for the handle, I've got some of this 5/8 inch dowel, and I wish I had 1 inch, but I just don't have it on me. So we're going with 5/8, and I'm going to do a through dowel handle on either side of this piece. We'll pull down from the very top at 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to pull down on both sides because I don't want to drill all the way through on just one side because I will risk tear out. And we'll go directly in the center. We'll punch both marks on both sides. And we'll drill all the way through with a 1/16 inch bit first. And we'll drill through halfway on both sides. Slide this on through. I used the wrong size Forster bit. Wow. Okay, well now I have no choice but to go up to Lowe's and grab a new dowel. Whoops. Well, we're heading to Lowe's. We going to the store, little bear?
One eternity later.
Well, you're not going to believe this dumbness. The only other size that Lowe's sells was 3/4 inch dowel. So I was going to think about making my own dowel. However, I don't have the right roundover bit. So this 3/4 inch dowel is just a heavy 1/16 shy all around the diameter. So what I'm going to do is hold it tight down to the bottom, and I'll just add a couple of brads into either side. That's about all I can do. But before we move on to the dowel, I'm going to go ahead and cut down some pieces to nail on to my angles. Now I've got some of this leftover pallet wood that I'm going to be using for this part. And we'll get these ripped to 1 1/4 inches. We'll turn our miter to a 52-degree miter, and we'll cut one side of each of these pieces. And for each side, we're going to cut one from that long point of that 52 to square, one at 14 1/8 and one at 15 3/8. Cut 2 of each of that number. Alright, before we install those pieces we just ripped down and cut, we're going to take our dowel, and I want to stick it past about 2 inches. So we'll get it cut to 21 inches. We'll add a dab of glue. We'll pop a brad in his ass. Now back to our side pieces. When we go to install these, you want to butt your shorter piece into that longer piece that you cut. That way they work out evenly at the bottom. We'll add a dab of glue. We're going to set them half and half. Pop a brad. Now we're not quite done yet. What I'm going to do on both sides of this piece is pull up from the bottom at 7 inches. Mark center. Drill through with our 1/16 inch bit. What I'm going to do is drill a 2-inch hole right at those punch marks. And this time, using the correct bit, I'll drill a 5/8 inch hole right below that 2-inch hole we just made. And what we're going to do is slide that on through, and I'm going to leave about 3 inches hanging off. That way the little hummingbirds can come and do their suckling. We'll add a dab of glue. Oh yeah, I'm digging it. That's how you take about $7 worth of material and turn it in to $75, $85. I'd like to thank Avery Street Design Studios for the inspiration for this piece. And I was going to build the one that they built. However, they did such a great job of it. And I think we were both on that same track of building one because these things are super, super hot during spring. And I'm so happy that I got to put some spin on that thing. The finish options that you can apply to this are endless. You can do a sugar boogie, do a stain, or what I'm going to do is just a clear spar urethane because I want to keep this thing rustic. And again, if you've got that laser engraver or a CNC machine even, put them personalization options under your description and your price just went up significantly.